Alright, Evie and I are back for another Destiny 2 video, and I'm actually changing what I'm going to do today. I was going to do kind of a new Vault of Glass video based on my impressions of my actual first run through rather than me just watching the world's first race, and I may still get to that, but very rarely is there a situation where I kind of just want to immediately rush and make a video about it because I have all these ideas kind of spinning in my head. But that's what happened today based on a story I wrote about Bungie's upcoming game, or one of their upcoming games. This is just based on another job listing. We've gotten some clues from a few of these so far. And this one was a little different because not only did it talk about a kind of multiplayer action game that they are currently incubating, which has long been the theory that they're working at some sort of PvP-based game. They also said that they wanted someone with experience in character-based games like this, which implies some sort of hero-based shooter, I'd imagine. It may not be a shooter because there's other games with heroes, like MOBAs and stuff, but it's Bungie. You would imagine that they probably are doing a shooter, so that would be in the vein of games like Overwatch or Valorant or Apex Legends, even though those are kind of different genres within themselves. They are all kind of based on the concept of these individual characters that have a specialized kit. And so I know some people are not super enthused about the notion of Bungie doing that, and yet as soon as I heard this, I couldn't shake the idea from my mind about what if this isn't just a hero shooter? What if this is a hero shooter based in the Destiny universe and the heroes are Destiny heroes? We have heard in the past that Bungie is expanding the studio, but also expanding Destiny as an IP. Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy are being promoted to the head of sort of Destiny as a overall IP rather than being the heads of Destiny 2 specifically. The immediate thought was that that's going to involve kind of Destiny expanding into TV or movies or things like that, and they brought on, I think, a CBS executive or someone like that to be a part of the team to kind of facilitate that stuff, even though no announcements have been made, but it does stand to reason that is in the cards. I do also wonder, however, if they are thinking about taking the Destiny brand and expanding it into other genres. We have seen other series do this in time, like Heroes of the Storm was a big collection of Blizzard IP, like using characters in new ways. Riot has done this with Legends of Runeterra and stuff like that. So it does not strike me as impossible that a hero shooter that Bungie is developing could be using Destiny as a base. And obviously it would function much different than Destiny Combat currently does, as it would with certain set character kits. But I want to go through this and think about how potentially cool this could be using characters from the Destiny universe. Let's just put aside the fact that, yes, in a perfect world, I wish Destiny PvP was being focused on a lot more, and I understand that people may not like a hero shooter no matter what universe it's set in, even if it's Destiny, but let's just have a fun thought game here. The idea is that Destiny has a ton of different potential heroes and I guess fill-in characters, theoretically, that could be used as the roster for this. And Destiny already has kind of classes and subclasses as kits where you have super, obviously a staple of games like Overwatch where you build up a meter and use your big moves. They have different abilities, but those are usually just kind of different grenade class abilities or melee abilities, so they're not quite as distinctive. Oh, UV Founder Ball, good stuff. But there are also, we have certain characters that we already have a lot of things attached to them. So you can already kind of see how kits would be forming for these certain characters. So for instance, you have Zavala. We'll just use him to start with because he's the most obvious front-facing Destiny character there is. I would imagine he would be some sort of tank character, and they would make him a Defender Titan. So that would be, his super would be the bubble that you would use. I don't know what style of combat this is. I don't know if this is like Overwatch escorting the payload or whatever, but or capturing zones, but let's just skip that for now. I also think that people could use kind of signature weapons that they're somewhat associated with in the game. Zavala is a little all over the place, so I don't know if I have one for him offhand. Just he's usually pictured with like a Vanguard auto rifle or something like that, so he might be kind of a more basic character in that regard. You have Ikora, who I would imagine her super would be Nova Bomb, because we've seen her use that on many occasions. I believe her signature weapon is Invective, the shotgun. We see her with shotguns a lot. So she could be using a shotgun. If we're talking about a game like Overwatch, where a character has kind of a set signature weapon. Might not necessarily be the case. You might be able to pick up other weapons and then use your signature weapon as an ability or something, but who knows? If it depends if this is take place in the current universe or not, but you could have Cade 6 or make him reborn as Cade 7. He would probably be a golden gun hunter. We've seen him used a few different styles of things. Ace of Spades would obviously be his signature weapon. Just continuing with hunters, Anna Bray is also probably a golden gun hunter. Maybe a different tree or something. But her weapon would be, you would imagine it would be Polaris Lance, the exotic that was kind of associated with her. I think she has a legendary version of Polaris Lance, whatever that's called, the Bray Tech thing on her back. Or you could have her do something like, have her break out like Sleeper Simulant as a heavy weapon and have her have kind of Rasputin-based powers where, maybe she throws a Rasputin javelin or something as one of her moves, things like that. You have Eris Morn, who I believe is a hunter, and these days she is wielding the darkness, so she could be that class. You could have kind of hive-based summoning powers. She's really good at teleporting people. Maybe she could have movement abilities there. You could have Drifter as a sort of maybe necromancer type character where he can summon Taken to assault other players. You could give him Trust, which is the gun he always has in his belt, or I think he's got the scout rifle too. Let's see, Elsie Bray is a stasis hunter, obviously, and her weapon is clearly No Time to Explain. That would be her signature. Lord Shax, Titan. What would Shax be? I think maybe like a Hammer Titan, I'm thinking, or maybe Thunder Crash, I'm not sure. But you could give him Raise Lighter, the sword that we've seen him with in the past. I'm not, off the top of my head, I can't think of Shax's associated weapons exactly. I mean, there's a lot of Crucible weapons, but as a Titan character, another Titan would be Saladin. I could see him with some sort of variant of the Burning Maul super, where but it would be his fiery, Lord Saladin super axe thing. And then there are a ton of different Iron Banner weapons that you could choose to give him. Fellwinter's Lie, whatever. I guess you could have Fellwinter as a character too. The list is long. I think you can take this kind of as far as you want it to go. There are a lot of characters that you could pull from here. I mean, Saint 14, another one, obviously another Defender Titan. I guess he would kind of conflict with Zavala. Perfect Paradox Shotgun. Osiris, a solar warlock with his fire swords and stuff, and he could have the ability to kind of multiply himself into different character, whatever they're called, echoes. What is Osiris' signature gun? One of his, one of those Curse of Osiris arrow weapons. I forget what they're called, but the ones you made in the Forge. Unless I'm forgetting a really obvious one for him. And then you can branch out. They don't all have to be Guardians. You could have Mithrax, the Splicer, a fallen hero, I guess he is now. And this is something where you could break out from Destiny at baseline, because you would be able to kind of use characters that you weren't able to use before. I really doubt we're ever going to get an Elixni class of Guardian, but you could have Mithrax as a character to play in this, and you could have either you could have him wielding light if that's a development that happens, or just have him using his Splicer Gauntlet and fallen weapons, Lord of Wolves. You could have Aramis, you could have villains. She could be using Stasis. Keitel is now our ally. She could be a Cabal that you play as. Gaul, I guess, could come back to be a character. In terms of Hive, I guess, are a little trickier. I'm thinking maybe Crota, a sword-based villain where, and he can have some other powers that knights do, like shooting fire and things like that, in addition to maybe some Hive-based weapons that we've had in the past, Necrochasm or what have you. Who else? Oh, I forgot Crow. Crow's not... I'm this is Crow, not Aldrin. Crow is now a hunter. I think he's like a golden gun hunter, but I could see him using Blade Barrage maybe is his thing, and I think Hawkmoon would be his weapon pretty clearly. That would make the most sense to me. But like as you like easily, I could think of a dozen plus characters to just start with, and different signature weapons and different abilities to be used in something like this. And I can't promise this would be fun or this is what I think that the PvP team should be doing right now. I am just saying that there is a very clear basis for some sort of hero-based PvP game based on the existing roster of Destiny with its heroes and villains. And I think that would be something to get a lot of players excited. Maybe not the dedicated PvP crowd that doesn't want a hero shooter, but I mean, who doesn't want to play like as Saladin or as Shaxx or like as Mithrax? Like, I think all of that would be extremely cool, and this would be a good baseline rather than doing this thing again where we need, Bungie to invent all these different new archetypes of characters and build little backstories for them. And like, yeah, they could do that. They could have a whole brand new roster of characters, I guess, if they wanted. But we have so many of these now that I don't know why you would like have a game like Destiny and then not draw on that for a game like this. I guess you have a company like Riot where they built new characters for Valorant, but they totally switched genres there. So that was like, there weren't that many gun-based heroes in League of Legends, only a very few there, but you weren't going to have like, Misfortune and Lucian and stuff be there. So Valorant built this kind of new roster of techno-future-y characters there. But with Destiny, for me, it is a lot easier to kind of already have this pre-made group of heroes that we have spent almost 10 years building up in terms of their characters and their signature abilities and weapons and things like that, where I have to believe that there is like something there. I do not have any inside information about any of this. This is literally an idea I had as soon as I wrote this article this morning, and I wanted to kind of get it out there. Let me know what you think. Like, am I totally crazy? Is this off the deep end completely? Is this never going to happen? And I think the general sentiment to this will be people just don't want this. People just would really rather have Bungie either work more on Destiny PvP or go back to doing something like Halo, where it's like, it's not a hero shooter. It's like a level playing field with like set weapons and things, and it's a little more balanced, and not really go down the hero shooter path, which is kind of the recent trend. And it's a very crowded market now, but we don't know enough about the game really to say that what for sure is happening or not. I'm just saying that there is a good base for that type of game here using the existing roster of Destiny and all the different potential you could do crafting kind of kits for each of the heroes and villains you would use in the game. So that's my idea. I might write all this down in an actual article at some point, but I don't know. I don't think it's impossible, so I guess we'll see. Look out for more job listings. Maybe we'll get some sort of tease about what this is at E3 or around E3, but who knows? Their next game is still a couple years away at the very least, it seems, so it might be a little early for that. But yeah, those are my ideas. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.